All right, guys, thank you guys for making it out. Ignite session 20. Joseph, I think, dude, you get the trophy. You've been to like every single one.
Yeah.
So high five.
Thank you.
No, I mean it. And I know you just jumped in, but I imagine you would have been at all of them. And then like the one person who I thought would be at all of them. Right over there. I think you missed one. So now you got to redo the whole cycle.
Well,
1 through 20.
well, I think if you're on Zoom, also can't. I think if you are on Zoom, also can't be here as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. Totally can.
Just because you weren't here.
I'm just giving everyone a hard time, but I will say this.
Was
The,
that a hard time? Just like,
Nah.
thank you.
I will say this to anyone watching this recording, watching this in person, watching it live eventually. The learning never stops, right? I know we're talking about planning your future, and you plug into all 20 of them. I plugged into Ignite, I swear, every year of my career in Keller Williams. So when I started at 14, I did Ignite like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, wow.
And 15, I did it 2 or 3 times. 16, 17, 18, 19, I taught him every year. 20, when we were on Zoom, I did it solo. 21, I taught it. 22, I taught it twice. Right? So my point in sharing all this is that the learning never ends. And when you get the opportunity to teach it on one of those cycles, or even share a semblance of command or what you're learning, what you've been doing, the student only gets so much, right? Like I might get 10% from the teacher teaching, maybe 20% of what they're trying to get across to me. Hey, we could see me as a teacher though, I'm nailing in these core concepts, these fundamental stuff that I've may have done, doing all that fun stuff. I'm locking it in internally more than my students, quote unquote, the students are taking from me. Now for the student, 10% of what they're getting from me or the teacher or the master or whatever is like 200% for that, because it's like brand new, like holy cow, we're taking in all this awesome stuff. But for the teacher, we're just locking in those concepts even more. So Alec, thank you for jumping on with us. I was just sharing that though this is the last Ignite before we reset, the learning never stops, right? You just keep on keeping on and you keep dialing in the fundamentals. So we got the whole squad here. I'm going to flip back and forth because I hate talking my back here, but we'll do our best. Plan your future. Last, oh yeah, totally.
Wow.
You get this one, and then this is like all scripts.
Awesome.
Now you wait for me to print out more if you need.
Thank you. This is very helpful.
Awesome.
All
right, guys, getting right into it. Lead generation, what we covered. We covered lead follow-up. Now the transaction coming to a close, and then recycling that process. Set your sights on the big picture. Getting right into it. How do you think matters? How you think in the beginning really matters. And that's Gary Keller out of the MREA. In that, how we start and do something, how my wife reminds me how we do everything, right? You good, Dawson? Damn.
Thank you.
Got it. Here you go. In the early beginnings of our businesses, we kind of tend to think like, hey, I need to pay my bill, or I need to think, hey, how do I learn to transact and all this stuff. I will say there was one thing that got into my head early on with the MREA was, okay, think of what I'm doing from the standpoint that one day someone else will be doing it for me or with me, right? Like every part of our business that we talked about, 80 to 90% of it can be delegated out. Like the one thing that can't be replaced, I would argue, would be the relationships, the lead generation, the connectivity, the messaging that we can create. So that's us, that's the rainmaker. If we're the ones out there in our farm, in our target market, we're working with our sphere of influence, they trust you. You, me, they trust us to be the doctor, right? But when we go to a doctor's office, there's a secretary taking our intake. There's someone running our insurance. There's a nurse taking our vitals. There's another nurse taking our weight, or whatever the process is. There's actually a prep doctor before we even get surgery who does all that. There's an anesthesiologist to knock you out. They don't do anything other than making sure you're inhaling enough gas or whatever it is, right? So your vitals are good. Then there's the actual doctor who did the consultation and who can be trusted that will do whatever they need to do to fix it, right? And even then, I would argue that even sometimes with who was it? Who was the doctor for?
Yeah, sure, well, yeah.
He had a co-doctor, so that was the doctor that, I forget what they call that doctor, PhD doctor. But, you know.
Oh, and
everybody-
Turner. Yeah.
Yes. I forgot the name, he had Portland, same guy, but he, when he came
Oh,
to
you mean
delivery-
literally having a baby doctor. Oh, an obstetrician?
Yes, I think so, but we met him, and then he would always have a co-doctor with him at the delivery, right? So my point is that he didn't do everything on his own, right? He always had someone there. So when I think about this quote and how you think you're getting, think of it that you're gonna grow beyond just you, right? It's not gonna be you collecting all the stuff day in, day out. There'll come a time when you'll have an option to say, whoa, I've made enough revenue to pay my bills for the next 5 years, right? I can live my life on easy street. I can take my time, take a knee vacation, maybe take a deal here or there, or I can take some of the seed money and I can hire a virtual assistant, and they can eliminate all the computer legwork off my hands. And I can hire a lot of assistants to run not only my transactions, but all my listing coordinating and all my buyer
That's a
coordinating.
good concept. I like that.
Absolutely.
That's a very good concept. When you think about this, it's a very good concept.
Yeah, they think of it as you're gonna be more than this, or if you say like, well, Philip, I just wanna make enough to just travel, high five. Think of it as, okay, how can I grow my database in such a way that I can sell off the referrals, right? And I can sell my golden database, and someone can pay me 25 to 50% for every deal that comes through here, because there's so much reputation with me and credibility with me on those contacts, that they're gonna do business just simply under the Iron brand, right? You're Alec, and I think Alex, the guy Alex and Hunt have done thought with us. You know, but we are the one that they're working with. Why wouldn't we be able to go and get 25 to 50% of the deal? I'm gonna scan on that. Go through mindset matters. What's your mindset? Are you aligned with your heart? Are you ready to take action and have a successful day? This is forward mindset 101. You can literally have Stephanie here on any of her Wednesdays that she needs it. And it really does start with work, right? How we align ourselves to start the day. And for those of us who jumped on, heard Brian, or if you've heard ever, on one of their mindsets, it's how are we ending our day the night before? How are we starting our day when we get up? Are we taking even 5 minutes to be grateful, to like kind of center ourselves in the east? Orly Cochette, Mike's wife, had done one where she came in and did one on mindset, pure mindset. Oh, all good, Alex. Oh, Susie, awesome, Susie, good to have you on here. Very cool. But Orly was here and she shared that in the first 2 minutes of her day, she gets up, is walking to her favorite restroom in the house, does her pee, brushes her teeth, and those 3 things, walking to the restroom and brushing, use the bathroom and brushing your teeth, no matter what happens from that point on, her day is there. Because she learns power and center herself. Monica, you have something similar to that. Before our 3-year-old takes over the rest of your day, and then the kids and the rest of life, I know that the 20 to 30 minutes she has in the oh, here you go, Alessandra, Bam, Katie. Oh yeah, we're like, oh, all good. Take a lap on this. So I can say you got me all.
Hi, Katie.
Those minutes that you take in the day to start and center yourself makes a huge difference, right? Instead of feeling like you're always behind all day, right? Let's see here, and that takes some introspection. Like maybe auditing kind of your day and time and saying, hey, all else fails, I do these 4 things, I drink some water, I do my 5 push-ups, 20 push-ups, whatever, spend some time with my kids, said I love you and had coffee. Awesome. From 7 o'clock onward, the rest of the day could fall apart. But I did that to start my day, right? Whatever that is, it could be different for all of us. Some people it's hike. Felix, he hikes every morning. We're looking at Veterans Park in Silmar. His day is complete as long as he can hike 3 miles up, 3 miles down to sunrise.
Wow, bless him.
Bless him, yeah. Bless him indeed. He's in great shape for a guy in his 40s. Okay, so he's 50, but he's been doing that for a number of years. He used to be like 300 pounds, my height, lost a lot of weight, and he's changed his life through real estate and through,
It's minor.
he's doing his thing.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. The KW belief system, once again, to keep this in mind, We were just talking about this during our practice drill rehearsal this morning, which is running through like your conversations with agents, with clients, with your teammates, with your spouse, with your co-agent. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we run it through this core belief system. And if it's weird to say KW even over here, think of it as this way you run anything. Right.
Is this in here, though, or just take a picture?
So if I want to say it's like probably in chapter 1.
Oh, probably, but it's somewhere.
It's
Okay,
in there for sure.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Maybe 1 and maybe number 11 or 12.
Okay,
But they definitely rehashed a bunch. Win-win or no deal, integrity, doing the right thing, all the way through the 4 C's, the 2 P's, E and S. Man, if all realtors kind of ran through this, you'd be freaking rock solid. The one thing though, from the last quote that we had seen, how you think the beginning really matters. If you can look at letter S, success results through people, that will take you places. Because once you realize that you're not on an island and you don't do everything, not everything is, because your success isn't just on you, there's a collection of people around you, including clients, right? If you fail, you kind of carry that with you, but that you can come back and succeed through and success resulting through people. Keep that in forefront that when you're winning, when you're doing it, make sure you're giving the shout out and success maybe to the Lord, but also to all the people around you that have made it possible to begin with, right? Revisit your value proposition. Does my value proposition reflect who I am? You move this out of the way real quick, guys, sorry. The value I bring and the benefit my clients will experience working with me, and my confidence share my value proposition with my contacts. If not, how can I make it easier to express my value? If you do the Mike Berry, Tom Ferry thing, the simple scripted one is, hey, if you're a seller, I'm going to help you sell for your home in the fastest amount of time for the top dollar to least amount of headaches, right? If you're working with buyers, I'm going to help you find a home in the least amount of time, most money saved with the least amount of headaches, right? So you can kind of copy and piggyback certain things or different aspects of it. And at the end, we'll share our value proposition and mission statement. But this is also an ongoing item. Like I tend to share and pride myself on being a resource consultant, being a real estate partner, advocate, resource consultant for their real estate needs, right? There's a lot that's kind of tongue twister, there's a lot to say. It's my most simplified way of meeting Michael Jordan in the elevator and telling him what I do and what I stand for, right? Revisit your big life, your vision, your future, your big life. Now we're gonna have the business planning clinic on November 16th at SRA, our Southland Regional Association Realtor's office. It's free for us within KW Calabasas. And the only way the one thing class and business planning clinic works is if you actually have a vision in mind of what that life is, right? One of the things I added over time is I wanted to be able to eat out every day by choice and not worry about not being able to pay much, missing on a bill with the bill, right?
yeah,
Like you ever see those life decisions like, oh man, am I gonna take diapers
right,
and the bag of Snickers or
right.
the diapers? A lot of times you take diapers, right? We can't have our kids dumping everywhere on stuff. But
Monica loved that you made that.
So I've done that. I go through, I've got $80 to my name, and it's like formula, diapers,
But I really need the Snickers.
but I really want the Reese's Pieces and the Snicker bar, right?
I do.
Yeah, and so I wanted to be in the position in life where didn't have to do that, right? And I'm not saying we're all, but it is nice to go to Costco
Yeah,
and be shocked as hell if the bill is $300.
but you got enough food for like a month, yeah.
Yeah, but we
Whatever,
paid it,
like
and
a week.
we're, oh my God, my account's gonna be negative. It's, you know what I mean? It's those little things that you kind of think of, and early on, you're like, ooh, okay. Hey guys, you guys can share it half. Hey, can you throw an extra toy in there? I'll pay you 50 cents or $1 for the toy, and it'll split from McDonald's. Those are like weird negotiation things. So when you get to a point where you start thinking, what is the big deal? Okay, so if that's an extra deal a quarter, and let's say that's 16,000 take home. Okay, let's impact 10 more people, knowing that out of 10, one will close in the specified amount of time. Right? We have some teammates, awesome gals, and head over heels, $2.5 million worth of listings, right? And the guy's constantly rescheduling the fly cat, just like, holidays, family coming around, all this stuff. And I said, what can we do? And I just did this. This was my sign for 10 more. Right? Just have 10 more. Believe me, everything is solved with 10 more. Hey, clients aren't performing, have 10 more clients, right? Oh man, someone just hung up on me, make 10 more calls, right? Wow, you know what? I got a listing appointment. Get 10 more. Right? You really got to pour it on, right? When things are happening your way, you just got to like throw kerosene on it.
I want to make a comment. There's a real estate investor, his name is Brian Cardone. He has a book, maybe you guys.
Oh yeah, totally copy that 10x rule. Yeah.
He's actually he owns about several thousand apartments. He buys them like 600 at a time. He's on YouTube. He's a little bit of, I would say, salesman, but the 10x
A
rule.
little bit, like the ultimate salesman.
He has a lot
I
of
would
books.
say that now.
He has a lot of books, but you mentioned 10. I thought I could check and tell everybody.
No, Joseph nailed it. That's where I got it from. I just looked 10x. And quite honestly, I did it for a little while, and yeah, our life was supercharged, right? I wish I kept on doing it. Probably would have sold more houses or whatever. Now more than ever it applies, because just like in the shifted market, the same amount of people who would have said yes. I do want to sell. I'm going to sell for the most money. Yeah, I'm going to buy for more, but I'm going to feel good selling my house for peak value, right? Now those same people are like, well, do I really want to move to Valencia? Do I really want to move to Calabasas? Not so much. And as much as we let them know, like, you're selling for a lower amount, but you're also buying at a lower amount, they don't see that. There really has to be a deeper motivation than just the value. So,
It's all relative.
yeah, absolutely. And if we can't take that relativity, then it's great, follow up, treat them good, add 10 more, right? To Joseph's point. One thing all high achievers have in common is that they are working for a big why. The big why is about having a purpose, a mission, or a need that in turn gives you focus, right? So that big why, and that was something Brian hit on today, will always be your guiding star, right? Hey, today I don't want to do things, like Bruce was saying, and maybe Bruce might be retired, I don't know, but the idea is like, holy cow, if my kid and the lifestyle that to provide for them is my big why, one day my daughter will be 15, and this is my thought when I was getting my real estate license, or right before I started real estate school. My daughter will one day be 15 years old before we had our second one. And I'm gonna have to ask my mom to pay for her quinceanera, or my in-laws to pay for her quinceanera. I'm nowhere in a position to do any of this stuff. That was, okay, I'm either gonna have to become a nurse and go back to nursing school, or I'm gonna have to really do this thing called real estate and figure out a way to win, right? That was like my big why at that point, get off of welfare, get off of this, that, whatever, all the stuff that we were going through. But, when you look at painting a picture for yourself related to something that will move you, that will drive you to tears, right? Now it's like, okay, well, geez, you're going to college. Okay, maybe I qualify for all the free stuff. Okay, we got to really like, and then now I'm thinking, well, after they're done, what do we do with our free time? So there's like new markers along the way, like the quinceanera is a foregone conclusion. We're gonna smash that and have a good time. We'll figure out if we're doing the 15th birthday, 16th birthday, or 18th birthday, because she's Spanish, she's Salvadorian, she's American, she's Filipino. They all have, right? I think Filipino is 18 college debut, America is sweet 16.
Yeah.
And then for Latino background, we're quinceanera 15 years old, so might do all three. No, I'm kidding. No. Good for one.
Don't tell her. You will.
We always tell the kids they're American first, right? I mean, we have very, very strong roots, but we do say that. So keep that burning desire. And if anyone was on flow, they talked about 451 degrees is like burning. Keep that strong, because with that strength, I mean, one deal you'll snatch through, right? You're just gonna like burn right through and attract more to your burning light. Think of it as right now we're in very uncertain times, fair to say, right? For someone who doesn't know, this is pretty like, oh, what's going on, right? There's nuclear war, there's a war going on, other things happening, inflation all time high, gas is like $8. on and on and on and on. So in their world of darkness, your big why, which is the light in your world, becomes now you're the light for them in that world. Now, I'm probably thinking a little too holistically here, but sometimes you got to take a step out because it's more than just people saying, hey, I want to buy and sell with you, right? It's like, whoa, hey, they're different. As everyone else is kind of getting into selling solar panels and selling insurance and getting out of the business, hey, we're the ones who are really lighting ourselves, I don't think lighting ourselves on fire, but really being that beacon of hope for other people. Big because you are after extraordinary results. Why it is the reason you get up every day and do what you do. Now, I temper that by saying you don't have to be crazy on fire 18 hours a day from the time you wake up, right? We get up fairly early. We get our kids to school relatively early, and we end our day relatively early. So it all, like you said, it's all relative. Now, someone is at their optimal best by waking up at 10 o'clock and starting their calls at 1 o'clock. Awesome. You know, there's no right or wrong. Yeah, it's where you function the best. So I've heard people say on calls or here with coaches or something, oh man, so what's the best time to call or door knock? And the best answer I ever heard someone say was from our previous office, and she wasn't even an agent. She was our agent services, and she said, Audrey Rainbow, she said, whatever you do, like if you door knock at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, high five. That's a great time to do it because you're actually engaged and you're doing it. If you're making calls, I remember Joel Fajardo, aka the mayor of City of San Fernando, the actual mayor, he made his calls at night because he slept in all morning. He didn't wake up till 2 in the afternoon. Then he would go to the gym, have like, yeah, Monica's like, what? He's single, right? Yeah, he's single. Okay. So he was single. He made all, and this is what he justified. During this time, I know these were a big thing. So he said, well, I'm calling nothing but notice of the fall. And the best time to contact them was after dinner. So I called them at 7:30, 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And they're going through what they're going through. And by then, every realtor stopped calling. It was dinner time. It's night. But he was a crazy guy getting listing appointments, taking listings, crushing deals. For me, that would have been too weird, right? For him, though, money, no competition. People were picking up halfway through the answering machine. They heard his voice, or they were picking up the call, and at that time he was converting. Now his business is converted to past clients and community outreach, because that's where he evolved into, right? But when he got his start as a newer agent at the time, not even newer agent, he was just newer to lead generation. It was NOB. Right, he started with Polo Baker, and he had a great SOI, and just as when the market had shifted, he flunked out, found his way to KW with Eric Delgado, and then went on a generation run. Right? I don't know why I did that, but it was like his why for himself was his parents, sister, himself. Your big why powers your big life, and you know there's certain things I hit on there. But that burning desire to achieve whatever that experience is and the evolution of that powers all the things that you do to have the financial capacity to live that life that you want to live. You know, we're not talking about being rich or anything like that, but whatever that lifestyle equates to, there's an equation to the monthly income to live that lifestyle. Very simple mortgage, PITI, if you're paying a mortgage and all that stuff. Or rent, right? But you have your living expenses, gas, eating out, or preferences for eating out. The grocery store that you choose to shop at. For us, it's Costco and Vallarta, you know, in Island Pacific. You know, the places we want our kids to go to, the traveling that we want to save up for. All of that has a monthly now. The retirement money that we want to save for, I'm behind on that for sure. So we gotta make up ground, Monica. We need to close some deals. But you know, those things that we want to fund, if you were to break it down on a per month basis, it adds into that space. Have a smart money business, right? These are the core six core competencies of the business. You guys have seen this. It's something we live by. Lead generating, capture and convert to appointments, present to buyers and sellers and get agreements, show buyers and market sellers, write and negotiate contract, coordinate the sale to closing, manage the money. And once again, I would argue half of that can be delegated out to an operations director a co-listing partner. At that point, you're better off hiring somebody on a per month basis than you are splitting commission with somebody. I'll just kind of throw that out there as a friendly thought. Keep in mind where your commission dollars go. Half of it is the other agent if you're doing a 5% or 6%, 2.5% or 3% being paid out. Market center takes the piece until you're capped. You have your business expenses, taxes. Finally, you take them, right? You know, don't do what I did and get into a tax hole. That sucks. You know, just set aside the 20% early on, and then pay your taxes on time, right? Monica's like, what tax hole? We're cool. We're cool. Financially sound or unsound. Now there was something that Hector Martinez, who's now at our office, his business partner helped set Monica and I up with our S corporation. It did cost a little bit of money, and if it's in the budget, I would do my best to get it, or I would have gotten it early on if I had the business maturity to say, cool, let me think of me as a business. So there were some mistakes for sure along the way that I could have maybe avoided by embracing a lot early on.
Was it because, the reason why you didn't was because you were new to it and you didn't know how finances and everything would be?
I think it was more like fear, because it's not like my office didn't teach it. They had the classes, and I just thought, oh, that's for the top group. So I was already kind of in my mind, kind of segregating myself from that instead of saying, "Oh no, I'm a top producer now. I just need to prove it in the field," right? So we didn't do it until 2020, right before we bought our house, and then we didn't start using it till the end of 2020, right?
Teach that class, you know, I haven't seen anything on it that.
Great.
Something we could put the word.
Yes, we had somebody, we had Hector do it at the network meeting, but not here at the office. That's good. Yeah, we took it for granted. Last year we had Louis Vasquez here, but you know, we haven't had anyone since then come back and teach it. Corporate setup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we kind of took it for granted, but you're right. We'll make a note of that and have that as an event this month in November. Yeah. But it takes about 30 days or a few weeks of, like, once you do set it up, you can go to the state and get verified.
You have to have a good account. That's
Yeah.
the main, yeah. They can do
Yeah, so I've got a financial plan. I don't know.
An accountant will do the whole thing for you.
Real estate planning, so everyone, I say should have, but if anyone has like their primary property assets to go with it, obviously not all of our assets are tied to real estate. So you need a financial advisor, financial planner, a good CPA, someone who's setting up your trust, a good realtor, you know, a good lender, right? Leverage, property management if you're in that real estate world. But you know, a lot of the people were kind of set in their bubble, the people around them, you know, they're retiring, they're retired in their 60s, 70s, even. They have 7 or 8 people, right? And it's always good to keep in mind that people who have options, financial options in life, they probably have their people. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to highlight, like, hey, I know you got a financial advisor, your go-to insurance person, your CPA, and your trusted advisor, you know, all this stuff. If you're thinking about real estate, I would love to meet, you know, get introduced to the people you're working with now, not for referrals or anything, but really to how to devise a plan that best serves you, right? And that will let them know, like, oh, this isn't my avenue. This is someone who kind of knows the game a little bit and knows how to work around what you get up. You know, so just food for thought. Money is good for the good it can do, right? Like I would like to make $1.5 million next year, right? And we're working on setting ourselves up for the Q1 deep all of this year type of thing. And it's not so that we can just go buy a new car, but there's a lot of good we can do with that. You know, a lot of stuff that Monica does for Cub Scouts that I do for the Boy Scouts, we don't ask for reimbursement, right? That's like one of our cool, fun things that we get to do for ourselves and for the troop and for the path. And we're not looking for referrals. Like, hopefully we never have to sell our friends' homes, right? That means they just stayed. we get to be friends, you know, instead of them meeting for Maine or something, right? Maybe help them buy more houses, but you know, I don't want to sell their house. That means they're leaving, right? And nobody leaves right now, but But the idea is, it's like these little things that we don't have to like, oh, hey, guys, we spent $80 on this, and we get a reimbursement. That's now, hey, who cares what it was? We're good, we're square, we gotta do it's time for our kids, right? The flow of money, think of it as income comes in, expenses, then profit, right? This is like literally it should actually be a different model. Hang on, I don't see. There you go. See, profit, you got the income, you got the expenses, profit becomes the income, right? So what's your goal? How can I minimize expenses to maximize that income? How many homes do I have to sell to make my income, make my profit, right? Like the old way of thinking is my income comes in, my expenses, profit last. This actually highlights profit first as your number one goal, where you think of, okay, what's my goal number, right? Okay, how many homes do I have to sell, and how can I control my expenses to ultimately hit my profit goal, right? One of the biggest mistakes is in not setting up that S corp. It probably cost us $50,000 in a 2-year span, where we could have saved that money, could have gone to a SEP IRA, right? Even if we didn't invest in real estate, and we just, based on our ages, we just had it sitting in a mutual fund, letting compound interest do its thing. That's real money by the time we're 65 years old, right? 30 years of compounding, some decent money there.
I will say, we need to get an accountant first, because in this business, we get audited a lot, and I've been audited like 4 times, and my accountant has gone to the audit, they asked for like 50,000, I paid 500, but if you don't have a really good accountant, you can really be in big trouble.
Now, you need a CPA and a bookkeeper.
Yeah, a good CPA.
And a good CPA will tell you get a bookkeeper. The bad one will say, I'll be your bookkeeper. That's a little too many hats.
I do my own bookkeeping, but just to keep it work.
Yeah, I heard people say that the QuickBooks, which we have, we do have QuickBooks. She is our CEO, by the way, so she's gonna like access all that stuff and be like, you've been embezzling. Kidding. Yeah. No, I kid. I've been paying bills. We've been paying bills. It's been a fun.
That's why there's a big hole in your backyard, just for a little.
Oh, yeah. I started like opening holes in the wall. Like that one movie, The American Gangster, where he was hiding money in the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Different movie. Okay, bad example. Can't say that.
He's right, digress.
Yeah, there you go. Expenses related to your real estate business. Here's your cost of sale. So those of us, you go onto KW Command or KW Connect, you can look up the CGI calculator, and on there you can actually calculate how many deals it would take based on your conversion ratio to hit a specific number, right? They take into the cost of sale, and the cost of sale is very simple for us at level 1. It's our cap and royalty dollar. So I'm assuming all of us are at $20,000 cap, $3,000 for royalty. That's our cost of sale at $23,000, right? On our operating expenses, it may be our monthly fee to the office. It may, I'm assuming all of us pay 75. Okay, cool. I thought you guys had a better deal with me all the way. So we paid $75. We have our renewals, which are due like on Tuesday. If you're with SRAR, you go right through the items there. And those are the things that we deduct off of the expenses in order to maximize the profit. And then it becomes a game. Like I printed out our last 4 months of statements. October's not done yet, so it's almost the full month. I got the last 3 full months, and I'm gonna have a full game tonight where I'm gonna be drinking tea and highlighting stuff. Where can we reduce? We do eat out a lot. We gotta figure out how to bring that down a bit, So I know we're gonna save $1,000 just on that, right? Okay, now look at the cost on the team side. What can we get rid of? Well, we're getting rid of Mojo because nobody's using it. We're cutting back on MailChimp because we got it under the 5,000 email mark, right? So we can freeze some of those numbers. And it becomes, how can we save on a per month basis? A little bit of money adding to a bunch. Now we're not cutting out our marketing. We're doing more KW ads than ever before. We're doing more mailers because we're taking on more listings, right? So there's some things that will go up, but then there's the recurring costs. So those are like one-time costs around the listing or whatever it is. And the recurring costs where, hey, where can we save? What subscriptions are we paying for that we don't need to pay for? Right? When the pandemic started, I was going through our Bank of America, at the time was B of A. I had like 5 subscriptions a month on kids apps, right? Like through through the Apple Store. I was like, what is this? You know, I canceled all of them, realized that I canceled Disney Plus, so we got that Disney Plus, right? But the other stuff, I was like, okay, the other stuff, I didn't know what they were. It just said Apple, $6.99, $2.99, $4.99. You're like, well, cancel all of them, and we'll know which one was Disney Plus once we renew, right? So that was little things like that. And then we got bigger things. You know, there was like insurance that we were paying for that we didn't need to pay for. It was been weird. So, yeah.
I just want to make a comment. It's a good point. I think you should check out your credit card and see if there's a recurring cost.
Mhm.
If it's a subscription or something that you no longer use, and think with it, because we are used to thinking within our credit card, just paying it. But go down maybe 1 month, 2 months on all the credit cards and see itemized and see what you're not gonna use and just kind of cancel it.
Oh, yeah.
That's someone I learned from, someone who's in real estate.
Now, one of the actually furnitures owes us like $4,000. You know that?
No.
Because we overpaid on the credit card. We had it on auto debit and we paid it off.
Oh,
I didn't know we paid it off. And now we have a $4,000 surplus on a credit card.
There you go.
wow, because they didn't turn it off.
Look at the
Yeah,
credit
I
card.
didn't turn it off. I should have gone in there and said,
They're
stop.
supposed to stop when it's zero. That's a
Yeah.
scam with them.
Yeah, so
Wow.
they've got $4,000
Stop money.
and I'm like,
You can have to write.
Yeah.
it.
Sometimes though, I'll go like, Macy's or something. Okay, this is what I owe on the bill, and I'll forget to go in and adjust it if I go and spend something, and then I get a call going, we have major. I'm like, Don't
yeah.
report it to me.
Right.
Set it up right now.
Right. It's kind of like the fun problem now because you're aware of it.
Yeah.
And as I was going through, I'm still paying $200. We paid off that cheap furniture, right? But no, they kept deducting it, and now we have surplus. Yeah.
Terrible.
They're gonna give you money, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
that.
I mean,
Oh,
the bill, I don't know, $4,000, so we're running away with our credit card. No, it was like a $4,000 surplus.
So it's like,
I
okay,
never
credit
knew
money,
that.
give your money.
Maybe it's a check.
Okay.
You can check that, yeah, so it could be like one of those, like, here's a,
And they're
or overflow, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You are the CEO. of the-
And then, take a screenshot of this for best practices. We're not gonna go through every item. There was something I wanted to say though, start with the amount you're small. Right, like this isn't us trying to flaunt or anything, like I know there's larger numbers. Right now, it takes $30,000 a month for us to run our business in our household. All right, like meaning we pay ourselves half of that in terms of what we call it distribution. Right, so the portion of it we earn through our payroll, the rest of it's distribution. A really good CPA will teach you this stuff. We pay our operations director what we pay her. We have a virtual assistant, Cyber back in the Philippines. We have another assistant who's on maternity leave, so we've been paying her, and all that adds up to a little over $8,000 a month,
Well,
right? So when you have 3 teammates and 8,000 a month is going to their setup, or about 7,500 is going to them, and we have increases for our operations director beginning next year. You know, immediately now you're not only worried about your family, you're worried about 3 other households, right? And I think if we were set up way early on, I don't think we would have paid that 50,000, we would have saved it, high five. But then on how those little things that we're catching now, imagine the habit being more in tune from day one. So that initial quote we started about, yes, I thought big, but was I really working on the details, right? I know where my strengths lie. Monica is my we're each other's counterbalance. And that's where, hey, you know what? You can't ever have everything perfect. I'm not gonna rewrite anything that we did or didn't do, right? Just happy we're here. But if you guys can learn from us, start with the amounts. When you get that first check and it's like 9,000 or whatever it is, awesome. They said 20% for, set aside profit first, 10% for profit, 15% owner pay, 20% taxes, the rest goes back into the business expense. Now, don't blow it all in one month, right? Build a reserve account and all that stuff. And even before that, know what your expenses are every month. Early on, it might only be $200, right? If you're just, hey, $75 for this, prorate the amount for the board. I do everything on a shoestring budget. Thumbs up, free prints, got a title, got a lender, they're supplying the rest. I'm not buying any water bottles because my title or loan officer got it, or my mentor got it, or whatever, my partner has it. Keep it really lean, right? Because I think a lot of what we're doing now is getting lean on certain things so that we can get lean on the market, right? And double down while everyone's kind of stepping back.
How do you get free products? Tell me more.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I've just print them. Like even when we had black and white, so here's a hack. I took pink paper and would print that with the market update, and then I would use that for my door doc. Or my open house thing, I just use SRAR site, but I would print it black and white with just black ink onto colored paper, and then I would bring that as my door stock. So I had yellow paper, pink paper. I don't even remember where I got it from. Like mom had it or something.
Yeah.
And I'd asked around, and there was a lender there, Ruben, gave me, like, he would do free color prints. So your lending partner can always do the color prints for you. But eventually we just started using yellow and pink paper. And then that was like our one thing to stand out. So early on, I spent no money. I think I spent more on the thank you referral cards, the the $5 Starbucks card, and the $1 scratcher tickets. We still do the scratcher ticket. Yeah, so those are things that we kind of still do. But yeah, that was like
You
probably.
get no cards at the 99-cent store that are really nice.
Yeah, there you go.
I get 6 little ones in a packet for $1.
There you go.
I use them for my happy house anniversary.
Bingo. And you could even go back to all your property management clients, and kind of work right through them with holiday cards, thank you notes, and all sorts of things. Yeah. Another quote: think and act the ways you want before you earn it. Ooh, average does, good is as good does, and great is as great does. What you do is who you become. Again, start with the end in mind. One of my coaches, my second coach, he had said, what are you paid per hour? I said, I had no idea. Right. And then when we factored it, it was like $50 an hour at the time, which still was like being a nurse, right? In a sense. And I said, well, I want my time to be worth $500 an hour. And last year we actually did it. So some time to get there, but we did it based on how much time I take to do with kids versus time working in the business and on the business. It was on average $500 an hour. And so now everything we do comes from a standpoint of, is it worth $1,000 for this hour? And it got really simplified when we started paying one of our assistants $50 for every house we showed. Right. I think it started with 25, and as the pandemic really got in, okay, you're risking your life, sense going through these homes, and okay, $50. And now it's still $50. But we do that because it's like, okay, I can lock in and close somebody. So where's my time most valuable? Is it opening a lockbox, or is it closing on getting the offer done? Right. And so then that started shifting, and guess what? More time on making calls, more time on closing deals, equated to more listings taken, more buyers under contract, more of everything else that kind of flows with it. And most importantly, it was time with the family, right? I wasn't missing pickup time. They weren't like sitting in the office wondering, where's Dad? No, they're trying to call me, and time comes up, it's weird stuff. Now, we're not going to go through this right now. It's easier, quite honestly, just use the CGI calculator and factor it through. But if you wanted to reverse engineer it, you certainly could with this slide. Now, I haven't quite used it. I'm not going to stand here and say like I'm using this 100% off command as you have credit. I mean, I use it for the opportunities list, and I do see like the potential income and all that stuff. I'm not using it the same way that I use the CGI calculator. To me, the CGI calculator is a little bit more robust. Copy, paste, whatever you need to do, but you can do the breakdown, and even add, in our case, you can add in, the salary that you pay out, all this other stuff, make everything whole, right? One more note I wanted to share with you guys is office. So office, and this is public information within the office because you're in Keller Williams. It's $110,000 a month to run this place, right? Between salaries, rents, subscriptions, all of it, right? So even at that level, the operating principal and ownership, Eddie and Paul, they even look at their financials, and they found subscriptions that could be cut out, like stuff we're not even using, right? Or stuff that if they just had every office on the same thing, every office would save $2,000 a month, right? Just by having one linear coach, one linear marketing plan. So even at those levels, they're still finding ways to drop unnecessary expenses. And not talking about firing people, right? That's like the extreme. They're just looking at subscriptions, like emptying that out, right? Made a huge difference. The daily 10-4, right? Enrichments, appointments, agreements, and closing on top of your daily 10-4 while Monica was watching the baby while her parents were out. Huge like shift, right? She kept engaging on 10-5-1. We have an agent, a good friend of ours, who's like, what was it today? She's like, oh, can you help me close, help me open escrow on this and close escrow on this, and I will pay your fee. She doesn't know how it works, it's also gonna be like, whatever, we do 20% or something. But she's like thinking her probably, she's probably thinking 50-50, right? Just so she can get it done. But that's because she's engaging on something simple, nothing complicated, not a bold 100 every day that she was at home. It was, this is what I can control. I'm gonna control it. Right? Everything else will fall in place, right? Importance of accountability, keeps your mindset focused and positive, reminds you of your big why, challenges you and makes you uncomfortable at times. Is one of our 6 personal perspectives, which the 6th one being accountable. Right now, accountability is kind of cool here. We've got Lisa, we've got Stephanie, we've got your different mentors, you got the group, right? We're building a really solid group that meets here at least on Fridays and just different days of the week or on Zoom, on the phone, and that accountability can be very high. I'm going to give a shout out to William, Lester, I'm getting her name now, Carol, and Rakenya. Again, Doris Casa, there you go. And myself, right? That we were the 5, and Sandy Graciano. So there were 6 of us that another team leader paired us up for, and for like 90 days we canned scripts for 45 minutes to an hour in one of the office rooms that all glass, and for 30 minutes, 45 minutes we canned scripts. I'll tell you now, all 6 of us are still in real estate through the last cycle, and now we're thriving, are going through our growth cycle now, and are kicking ass. Carol has her team at Studio City, Keller Williams. Lester, not here, but he's at this office, and he has a very successful lending business, right? Killed it last year, believe it or not, still killing it this year. Sandy became a flipper in Kentucky, flips homes, has a bunch of rental properties, and she didn't start though. She looked a lot younger, but she's now fit, right? And she started super late, was like a total hippie, like, the earth is my friend, bare feet hippie, and now real estate pays her lifestyle, pays her bills and then some, right? Doris has an amazing family now and still leverages real estate, still has investment property. Myself, I think we're doing all right, babe. Monica's involved now, so we're like stable. I'm forgetting someone. William, he was in his 40s at the time. He finally got married, had a kid, successful business in Palmdale, moved his family up there, and he flipped homes out there, right? So, that accountability portion, even though we're not like buds and we're on our whole group text, but to see them do their thing and remembering how we were, it's kind of a fun accountability process there. Now, again, types of accountability go right through the line. I'm not going to pitch the KW map stuff. I leave that to everyone to decide. I know it's good for me. That was another one I probably would have jumped on sooner. The moment I made my first deal, probably would have invested in something like never ending referrals, like what Monica's on right now, or anything that would have been even a weekly coaching or once a month coaching would have gone a long way for me back then. Right. And instead I kept chasing networks and stuff like that, which is good too. But it's kind of like wider and wider and wider information versus driving deep on a deep core fundamental. Yes, learn all that stuff, but then have something you're anchored to
So
as you're doing it.
what's never ending referral?
Awesome question. So it's a monthly, you pay monthly, but it's a weekly training. Was it live on Mondays?
Yeah.
And they talk about, building through your database, through your sphere of influence, through your geographic farm, your target market, all the stuff that we talk about, but they drive deep on those conversations. And you work hand in hand with scripts, dialogue. Market at the moment is huge because it's not the same cycle that I was a part of last year, right? Because that was a pandemic.
Yeah.
Now it's
Back in the open.
and a recession, right? So when I was in this pandemic talk, like, oh, have events that are socially distanced, all this stuff. When the market was great last year, like throw big parties, throw big events. Now it's educate, right? The big message is educate, let people know, like, hey, don't come from a place of fear, come from a place of strength. invite them to know, like, what the event we did. We did the lending panel, and all the resources and the market update and buying the shifted market. You know, so that's the NER, never ending referrals. That was $40 a month with that.
That's kind of expensive.
It's totally worth
Check
it.
it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Plan for learning. This is kind of cool because being learning based as the format of your lead generation or the basis of your prospecting will make sure that you're never, ever, like I shared here on the team meeting. If you are the go-to resource for real estate or you're the resource for your community, you'll never run out of clients and never run out of commission dollars, right? Because you're gonna be the source where they're gonna cross-check their information with you, right? So yeah, I saw this on Google, I saw this on HGTV, but you know, just to be on the safe side, we call Alessandra and double check. And you might not know, like, what the F they're talking about, right? I mean, I don't know half the stuff people bring to me, but people trust me to a degree to say, hey, folks, I think this is a good idea. Hey, you know what, Dawson? You know what? You're introducing a new topic to me. But you know, I may know 2 or 3 people who have this down pack. Let me call them and contact them and get back to you. That'd be okay. So even today, I don't know all the answers, right? They have a great network, great strategic partnership network, or maybe I heard about it in a class or a network event or whatever it is. I'm gonna go to them, especially if it's like crypto and real estate and stuff like that. There's other people I would call for that. E-learning based courses, this is all through KW. I'm looking at it like this is some of them. Career visioning for hiring. Monica did that way before with Paul Morris, right? Was it with Paul? Maybe. Yeah. Ton of learning there. Plan for learning. Design your future mission. This is the KW mission. You know, you go from careers worth having all the way to legacy worth leaving, and everything in between. And yeah, I would say a tattoo or somewhere. That is our business. Careers worth having, starting with a real estate career, your career, right? Is certainly worth having. Building it and turning it into a business worth owning, right? Go beyond just transaction. Now it's, wow, hey, I'm building a predictable business that services 10 clients a month and 20 more in the week, right? Lives worth living. This is all to produce a life where you can take your daughter to school, pick her up, be a part of her life, and in between that, just crush the business work, right? And fit it in between. It gives us an ability to do exactly that with younger kids, right? As they kind of go through their stuff. This was added just a few years ago, and experiences worth getting. It's more than just the money we leave behind, the books we leave behind, which are important, right? But it's, wow, it's an experience that they'll take with them for the rest of their life. Yeah, we'll take a ton of photos, post about it, keep it private, whatever, but they're gonna remember these things, right? Like if you ask me, like my mom, I think did really well as a single mom with 2 boys, but the experiences weren't many. They were a great time, kept us safe, and I do remember things with her. Could it have been more? Of course, but you know, single mom did her best. So cognizant that there's 2 of us and an amazing support with our parents or her parents and my mom. What experiences can we give them at their later stages of life? What can we do for our kids? What can we do for each other and ourselves and so forth? And legacy worth leaving. Yeah, it'd be cool. My dad left me more than just a suitcase of memories, right? I love that man. Great experiences with him too. Love him, you know, every which way. Kind of cool. There was 10 parts. Who knows? Whatever that is, right? And that's totally cool. I'm not being materialistic in the sense. Jim Rohn says the 3 most important things to leave behind are your journals. What did dad and mom write about? What did they think about? The histories, right? The photo albums. Now it's probably just like in the cloud or something. Yeah, but the actual photo.
For sure.
You know, Monica, it's dawned on me. She didn't keep all the photo albums in the suitcase just to be mean. In the event that there's a fire, she probably think it's easier to lug that thing out and keep them safe. And the very last thing, are libraries. Right? Again, maybe now it's Kindle, but it's the books that change our lives and those that are kept inside of them. Right? So we kept that as part of the legacy, high five. But it wouldn't be a bad idea if you also left behind beside insurance, you know, a ton of assets.
Yeah.
You know, I won't be mad at my mom. I know she's leading us forward. My brother. She helped us with the other.
You can report.
And I know.
Hey, my.
Okay, now. He's on the insurance, he's on the house.
Maybe you should.
Younger brother.
Put a little Margaret, write your name on it. and There you go.
Maybe our kids are into too, but not. I think I went through the inheritance because she helped us so much, so. Yeah,
Cool.
that's cool too.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Oh, I love my mom.
You build an empire.
She really has.
And you were happy, because even kids don't, as long as they have love, they don't know that they're not getting, a ride, going shopping at FAO. They have no idea.
Oh, yeah.
It's just their world is what they know. And if they're loved and having fun, they don't care.
Oh, true. Very
You
true.
know, it's true. You're very blessed.
And we're very lucky. Building off of Gary's code, get real about your situation, get right about what you're doing, bring a greater sense of clarity. And that was like a big piece of it for us when we got into real estate from a prior business. But I know for sure my priorities were so out of whack, right? It was like business first, everything else will take a back seat. And when we got into real estate, and this was like the language, this is the word, right? And I'm like, whoa, this is what I want. And it happens to be in something that I'm licensed to do now, right? And sell. And hey, there's some people doing some great things. Okay. So it brought clarity, priority, and focus to my work because now I kept God first, family second, business third. And that's literally in the DNA here. Boom. That's a pizza, bro. Pizza and wings. Define your future, start with your value proposition, get your big why, have your profit goal, the number of transactions. Number 5 and 6, 7 and 8 is primarily all of Ignite, right? From session 4 all the way through 19 is pretty much working a database, contacting, lead generating peer sphere, lead generating a target market, taking not mets and putting them into your database, running a transaction from start to finish, buyer, seller, representing both sides. The last one is accountability, learning throughout. If you get down, I would even argue that your big why comes before your value proposition. But if you just have 1 through 3 down and then 4, because a lot of times we forget, we're just like, I just want to sell real estate. But if you have a number in mind, then it becomes more predictable. Like, it's just an example, but let's say the goal next year is 12, quote unquote, 1 a month, and you're starting now, right? So to get the first one in January, all you need to do is have 2 escrows open by December. That's it. 2 open in December. You want to close one in February, have 2 open in January, right? Then you start thinking, okay, well, it's 12, but I want 6 to be listed. Awesome. If you don't have a track record of conversion rate yet, then think of it as 3 appointments a week, right? So that's 1 every other day. And sometimes they cancel. So at least schedule 3, get on base 1 time, or get to second base at least once. And then you'll start building your trend track around that. And if you want a 10x it, think of 10. If 10 is too much to think about, go back to 1. And then every day, maybe the goal is adding 1 new person to your database, your smart database, that says in X amount of time, and that could be any time. Early on, I was taking 2 years. Hey, if you told me, Dawson, you're gonna sell in 2 years, because that was like your retirement date, and then you were gonna move to New Mexico. Awesome, that +1, high five Monica, we won today. Because I added 1 new person that day, right? And if I added 5, it would have been a banner day, right? For adding new leads to the database. But the number of transactions very simplistic. You got it down to 12, equating to $150,000 take home after company dollar, royalty, whatever cost of business. Then, and 12 was that number. Hallelujah, you found your number, right? Then you decide, wow, I really want to make 200. So, okay, well, you're capped at that point. Let's get it up to 24 deals that year, right? Let's maximize the business opportunities. Got your eval, success system. All right, cool. So on that note, we're always around. They're starting to recycle this on Monday. I'm not quite sure the timing, they're still rolling that out. Any point you guys have questions or something we can help out with, let us know. That's what we're here for. You don't have to be part of our group or our team. I don't care if you're in productivity. I don't care who your mentor is. You know, you guys have questions, we may have an answer. We don't have a solution, we'll hash one out together. Right?
Thank you, Philip.
Yeah, for sure. Keep plugging in the 4 mindsets. And thank you guys for being a part of Unite. So give yourself a round of applause. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Susie, for being on with us online. Let's just crush it, guys. Everyone take care. See you later.
Thank you so much, Philip, for all your golden nuggets. You're amazing. We love you.
It's great seeing you the other day. And yeah, we're gonna keep growing. Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.